Hello and welcome to English Language Boost Lessons online. Today's lesson is part 2 of work and professions. In this lesson we will learn about key workers and revise the use of the present simple tense with jobs and professions. By the end of the lesson we'll be able to describe different job roles of key workers in the UK, identify the use of the present simple tense, positive, negative questions, create your own sentences using the present simple tense, and complete a variety of exercises to increase fluency and build on vocabulary. Now, if you watched the previous lesson, we've completed outcome 1. Today's lesson we will complete outcome 2. So today we will just be looking at structures for positive, negative and question sentences. And in the next lesson you'll be looking at creating your own sentences with the present simple tense, and then we were looking at some exercises. Okay, so what is the present simple tense? Sometimes we can call this present simple tense, sometimes we can call it simple present tense. It's exactly the same. Okay, so think about what this means, write down your answers, pause the video if you need to. Okay, so one of the definitions of the present simple tense is that we use the verb to tell about things that happen continually in the present. So it's showing a regular action, so the verb being the action, something that we do every day, every month, every year. There's a pattern of the action, okay? There's a continual presence of it, okay? So when we work and our professions, we do actions in that job every day, every other day, depending on your work pattern. We do the actions of the job on a regular basis. Okay, so first let's have a look at the structure for the positive sentences. These are also called affirmative sentences. So here we have the table, and on the left side we have the singular and the plural, and these are very important when we look at the present simple tense sentences. Okay, so we're starting with the subject. Our subject is the person or the thing doing the action. This could be a noun or it could be a pronoun. In the table we are choosing pronouns. Okay, so this could easily be a person's name as well. Okay, and then we've got, in the next table we've got the main verb, and then we've got the time expression. The time expression is important, especially when we are looking at the present simple tense. It shows there's a regular action going on and the pattern in which the action is going on in. Okay, so if we go back to the subject, in the singular we've got I, you, and then in red we've got he, she and it. With the present simple sentences, this is important because this is the third person singular, and if you look at the main verb with the third person singular, the main verb is changing from work to works. Okay, so I work every day, you work on Sundays, he, she, it, third person singular, works. Okay, on weekends, or it could be every day. Okay, plural does not change, so we work, you work, they work. Just have a look at the structures here and think about what is changing in this table. The only thing that is changing is the third person singular. Okay, the rest of the pattern is exactly the same. So third person singular for present simple sentences, the main verb. In positive sentences, the main verb changes. Okay, let's have a look at the negative structure now. So with the negative structure with sentences, we can use the short form of do not, which becomes don't, or does not, which becomes doesn't. Okay, so in the table again we've got the singular and the plural on the left hand side. The subject, again we've got the singular subjects I, you, and third person singular he, she, it. And then we've got the plural we, you, they. And then we've got the short form of the auxiliary verb. Okay, so we've got don't and doesn't. Okay, so with the third person singular, the helping verb or the auxiliary verb is carrying the S. So don't, doesn't. Okay, so look at the main verb. The main verb is not changing in any of the for any of the subjects. Okay, remember in the positive sentence the main verb was carrying the S, but in the negative sentence the auxiliary verb is carrying the S. Okay, let's have a look at some question sentences. So here we've now got exactly the same. So we've got the singular and the plural. With the question sentences, the auxiliary verb has come to the beginning. That's the beginning of the sentence, the start of the sentence, and the subject has taken the second position. Okay, so here we've got do I work, do you work, does he, she, or it work. So with third person singular, it's still the auxiliary verb, but remember this is not negative now, this is a question sentence. So here we have does he, she, it work. And then with the plural, do you work, do you work, do they work. Okay, remember in positive sentences it was the main verb that changes for third person singular. For the negative sentences we use the short form of the auxiliary verb. So we used don't or doesn't, and that was where the auxiliary verb was carrying the S. And also for question sentences we can see now that the auxiliary verb is carrying the S and the main verb does not change. Okay, just a reminder for you that if you're using WH questions, who, where, when, what, then the structure is we use the WH question to begin with, then we use the auxiliary verb, then followed by the subject, and then at the end the main verb. Okay, just some spelling rules now. In general, when we use the third person singular in present simple sentences, we change the verb from the base verb and we add an S. Okay, so read becomes reads. The second rule is that if we have a verb that ends with double S, X, CH, SH or O, we add an ES. Okay, some examples here for you. So if we look at the word dress, it ends with a double S, so we add an ES, dresses. We look at the word fix, ends with an X, so we add an ES, fixes. We've got the word watch, which ends in a CH, so that we add an ES, watches. Wash, SH, we add an ES, washes. And then go ends with an O, we add an ES, goes. Okay, the third rule is when verbs are ending in consonants plus Y, we change the Y to an I and then we add an ES. So a consonant plus Y, we remove the Y, we add an I and ES. So cry ends with a Y, before the Y we have a consonant, we remove the Y, add an I and ES. Okay, fly ends with a Y, before the Y we have a consonant L, so we remove the Y, add an I and ES. So terrify ends with a Y. Before the Y we have an F, which is a consonant. We remove the Y, add an I and ES. Okay. If you looked at some of the previous videos, we did cover the spelling rules in detail, and we also covered the structures in full detail as well. So if you're still a little bit you'd like a little bit more practice, please go and visit those videos. Okay. So that's the end of today's lesson, and let's have a look at what we learned today. Okay, so today we covered the structures of the present simple tense, so positive sentences, negative sentences and question sentences. If you'd like to do some more revision, please go and visit the previous videos which are on present simple tense. There's a lot of detail on the structure and some example sentences for you to practice with as well. Okay, so please give us your feedback on today's lesson and evaluate the lesson. It's very important for us, for you to tell us what you think of the lesson, so how we can improve. Let us know if it was good, if it was clear, you understood. If there was something that you didn't really quite understand, please let us know, drop us a comment. If you're still struggling and you're having difficulty trying to understand structures, please let us know about that too as well. Okay, so that was the completion of outcome 2 for works and professions. The next video or the next lesson will be on outcome 3, and here we're going to practice some sentences, writing some sentences. Okay, so please stay tuned. Take care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye.